The story begins in the dim archives of an abandoned university basement. Dust-covered boxes, broken file cabinets, and the faint hum of forgotten machines fill the air. Dr. Marcus Vail, a quiet behavioral historian, spent decades studying how emotional instincts shape societies. But what he found in a sealed folder marked Project Eve, confidential, 1952, would change everything he believed about civilization. Inside were reports from early psychological studies, data suggesting that women's emotional responses weren't just reactions to environment, they were design forces shaping the environment itself. Each chart showed the same pattern. When women began to adapt to comfort, safety, and abundance, entire social structures bent to accommodate their shifting needs. Markets evolved, families reorganized, even language softened. The more civilization advanced, the more feminine instinct quietly rewrote its core. But why had these findings been buried for 70 years? A handwritten note at the bottom of the last page read, "The system must never know its own code." Dr. Vail realized he wasn't reading research. He was reading a warning. Marcus dug deeper. The files referenced a forgotten lab, the Eris Institute, a Cold War think tank that ran psychological experiments on human bonding and desire. The Institute's mission, to understand what made people loyal. But loyalty, the reports claimed, was not symmetrical. Men bonded through sacrifice, women bonded through safety. And as societies grew safer, men's loyalty decayed while women's selectivity sharpened. The Institute's researchers predicted a coming reversal, where emotional security would outweigh traditional morality, and pair bonding would collapse under the weight of individual desire. They called it the rewiring event. Pages described tests too strange to be coincidence, experiments on empathy manipulation, hormonal control through environment, and behavioral contagion in group settings. One memo stated, "When the emotional environment becomes predictable, the feminine system will begin to optimize for self-benefit over group cohesion." Marcus stared at those words in silence. It wasn't hatred or bias. It was a clinical observation, wrapped in mathematical certainty. He could see the pattern everywhere. Social media validation loops, dating apps, shifting family models. The prophecy of 1952 had quietly unfolded without anyone noticing. Civilization had become a mirror of desire, and desire, he realized, had always been feminine. In the final box, Marcus found a reel of audio tape labeled Eve Protocol, Termination Report. He played it. A woman's voice, calm and precise, filled the room. This program was designed to measure the emotional temperature of civilization, but the readings are unstable. Empathy has become currency. Attachment is now an illusion. We created a species that survives on validation. Static crackled, then silence. He leaned back in his chair, staring at the dark walls of the archive. The code wasn't in the data. It was in human nature itself. Every civilization before had fallen not by war or famine, but by emotional entropy, the slow decay of meaning when instinct replaces intention. Marcus wrote one final note in his journal. Desire builds kingdoms. Comfort dissolves them. And as he turned off the light, he realized that the story of civilization wasn't written in stone or steel. It was written in the hidden circuitry of the human heart. The experiment had never ended. It had simply evolved.